you're sitting back and you're actually, I met this guy recently, and a lot of people don't know who he is, but the guy's an extremely great guy. I've watched him in the ring. He's very old school. There's a lot you can learn from him. But WCW's Maestro was a very he was a very nice guy, and he's very technical, very old school. And from then till now, there's a huge difference in his performance. He can go with the biggest of the big right now, and back then he went with the fastest of the fast. So I mean, he has evolved himself to where
he's changed his, you know, I guess what kind of wrestler he goes after.
Absolutely.
So he's changed his size, his weight.
He changed himself from the cruiserweight title in WCW to now where he goes places and wrestle. He holds the heavyweight titles.
Oh my God!
Wow. Yeah, you move up weight classes. That's awesome.
So I want to hear this from you guys. Who do you?
Steven, why don't you go ahead and do yours?
Well, mine of all times. Well, what was your last one? Your high flyer?
My high flyer, I would probably give that to Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
If you want to know my technical favorite wrestler,
I guess it would be technical then.
I would probably say Mr. Perfect.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Because Mr. Perfect had a lot of submissions. Mr. Perfect was known for his perfect plex, and that was actually a very technical move. If you couldn't bridge, if you can't grasp and hold on, you don't have anything there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it like this because I think that's kind of correct. With high flying, I think, I mean, I've always been a fan of Team Extreme, so I'd have to say Jeff Hardy just because I love.
Which Team Extreme?
Oh gosh.
Which one of the 15 Team Extremes?
Different Team Extreme.
So you like Jeff Hardy? Okay.
I mean, you know, the guys, the locals. You know, I mean.
A guy who's went through his whole career and never had a major injury. That's something I can applaud.
Yeah, and then I guess for power, I'd say, I guess back in his golden days would be Triple H.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I was during the Attitude Era, so a lot of the wrestlers that I've seen were all during that, and or the Giant would be another one of back in the day when he dominated WCW.
Right.
And of high flying, I would have to say, or of technical, would be Sting.
Okay, I'll let you.
I mean,
he's not.
He's not, just of technical, but he's got a lot of different.
Well, I can let you go with that because Sting, back in his heyday, did a lot of flying, did a lot of submissions. He did a lot of things that at the time was above and beyond what most wrestlers were doing. So I can let you go with that.
I'm not talking TNA Sting.
Right. No, I can let you.
WCW Sting. I mean,
right.
You're talking about
I really haven't seen TNA Sting that much. Go ahead.
My technical wrestler will be HBK. I'm a big Angle fan. Angle was amazing, and of course Chris Benoit.
All right.
Benoit was with him. The Radicals was so great back in the 90s.
They were.
When they went WWE.
All right, before we go into, or was that it? Or?
No, I just got my powers.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, you're doing
my power is Batista, Big Show, and Triple H.
Okay.
And then
Batista, I kind of want to see him again. I hope he, I don't know what he's doing right now.
Batista's actually in the middle of making movies and trying to do MMA fighting.
Yeah,
so
I don't.
It'll be a while before you see him.
Figure that. My high flyers, I was gonna go Hardy, Mysterio, and.
Now, which Hardy?
Oh, definitely Jeff Hardy.
And which Mysterio? Are we talking about Rey Mysterio Jr. or are we talking about Rey Mysterio?
WCW.
Oh, you gotta go that way.
And probably Eddie Guerrero. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Before he died, I mean, he stepped up.
Big frog splash was, I mean, he made that move as of. Okay, so one thing I want to ask before we do favorite tag teams is, so let's end it with another favorite segment of favorite tag teams. And I don't know if you want to put that into a certain category.
No. Tag teams are tag teams. As far as overall, I'm going to have to go with the Steiner brothers.
See, everybody says that.
I'm going to have to go with guys like Demolition. Although they were a ripoff of the Road Warriors, Demolition had, for their time, they were right.
Yeah.
Now, for those few 5 years, they were good. After that, you couldn't do nothing about Demolition. Demolition was good. They had a great manager, Mr. Fuji. They had a lot of stuff going on for them. As far as my personal favorite, I have a lot of respect for the guys and the Road Warriors, and my personal opinion are the greatest tag team of all time.
The Road Warriors?
At a very, very close second was definitely the Dudley Boys.
Yes.
I like the Dudley Boys. That was the one I would always watch when I was watching WCW as a kid. I would always watch the Dudley Boys or WF. Any of those, I would watch them because they were always fun to watch.
For me, it was the Dudley Boys in ECW when they were selling out the arenas in Winston-Salem, and you would go and it's just they put on a great show.
Absolutely.
So
they were able to talk, they were able to move, they were able to do stuff that other people weren't trying to do. I mean, that's what made them who they were.
So, right. Steven, you want to go ahead and give
yours first?
Oh, I get to give mine.
Yeah. We'll switch it up this time.
I have to say Steiner Brothers. I mean, they were, one back in the 80s, I want to say is definitely Midnight Express. I mean, they was technical wrestlers back in then. I mean, they did it for 10 years. They didn't just do it for a couple years. They did it for 10 years, 20 years. Bobby Eaton's still wrestling somewhere in Tennessee, I think. And definitely Road Warriors.
Okay.
WCW.
All right, so the ones I had were, I remember watching these guys when they used to have Heat, Raw, or WF Heat or whatever, and it was Paul London.
Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they were so high flying and everything. They were awesome. And then Team Extreme, of course. Or excuse me, let me say the Hardy Brothers.
The Hardy Boy. There you go.
The Hardys.
Which one?
Jeff and Matt. They were part of the. I need to mention them too. Edge and Christian were also part of the Age of Awesomeness.
That goes to show you what they really had during the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Compared to what they have now.
They had no. There was one I actually did want to mention that I forgot was. It was in my original. Was DX. I'm not talking about DX of the 90s. I am talking about the original, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. How do you feel on that? Because I know that those characters are a lot different than probably your character.
Those guys are actually something that I can admire in wrestlers, is they're able to have fun, they're able to cut up, and they're able to do things that other wrestlers don't. And it has its place and it has its time, and then that was the perfect time for them. Just like today, you have a more aggressive and you have a more serious wrestling style.
Okay, well, I guess that's about it for Wrestling with an Attitude. And we have Mr. Patton Jones as our guest today.
Thank you for coming.
Anything you'd like to say last of, to any of the listeners out there, anything?
Go on and check out ExtremeWorldWrestling.com. It gives you the latest updates on when our shows are going to be. It gives you blogs, and it gives you the profiles of the wrestlers and the guys that are in the show. Our next show is Saturday. We're up in Greensboro. We're having a Survivor tournament.
Wow.
It's a 16-man Survivor tournament, kind of a King of the Ring style, kind of. Yeah. And the winner actually gets to pick any title that he wants to go for.
Sweet.
Wow.
So, of course, I have my U.S. title, but I'm gunning for the heavyweight.
Oh, I would too.
So, who is the heavyweight champion?
Mr. Craig Huffman is actually the heavyweight champion right now, and he lives down in Rock Hill area. He's been actually featured in the newspaper down there, and outside of the ring, he's a big guy. Inside the ring, he's an even bigger guy with the heavyweight championship. So,
well, thank you again for being on the show.